What's going on, guys? It's Jake Camaro here with,
The Ranger 99.
and today we're going to be doing our third episode of the Flashback Friday Halo Special with Halo 3, a game that was released September 25th, 2007. It was the first Halo game for the Xbox 360, Microsoft's next generation console. This game was actually released 2 years after the release of the system, so it went 2 years without Microsoft's signature franchise, and what really was the huge launch title for the original Xbox. So it was a little disappointing to a lot of Halo fans, but in 2007, it was definitely worth the wait because Halo 3 was epic, to say the least. It's a really good game, and it really improves on all the standards, campaign and multiplayer alike. So right now we're going to be playing the first level of the campaign, Sierra 117, and this is really a level where you get to see what happens to Master Chief right after he leaves High Charity, that big cliffhanger which was set after the end of Halo 2, because Halo 2's ending definitely left a lot of questions to be answered, and Bungie definitely wanted to get quite a few out of the way immediately. So right now you get to see that where Master Chief landed, and he is alive, and Sergeant Johnson is there to try to save him, and the entire mission kind of turns into trying to extract from the area. Right here, you're actually just watching a cutscene. This is actually a different mission, but we're going to be getting into the gameplay pretty soon.
So yeah, basically, Halo 3's whole idea was to finish the fight, which was actually the last words that Mr. Chief said in the end of Halo 2, and so basically this was supposed to be the conclusion, and so that's what we thought. But Halo 4 is coming out soon, November 6th, and so yeah, it's still finishing the fight, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so the first time you take a look at Halo 3, you definitely think about the graphics. Halo 3 is a gorgeous game because it was released on the Xbox 360. Bungie was definitely able to make a game a lot better than the limitation, because they didn't have the limitations that they had with the original Xbox. This is the first time it's in complete HD, and there's a lot more textures. The lighting is a lot better, and the entire game just looks a lot better. Multiplayer is also much improved. They added some vehicles like the Mongoose, which was added, and then also the Chopper, the Brute Chopper, which actually Halo 3 was the only game to feature the Brute Chopper, unless you count Halo 3 ODST, which we will be talking about in a couple of weeks. But right here you actually see a little Cortana cut in, and this is actually relevant throughout almost the entire game. At certain points, Cortana kind of just comes in, and your character is really slowed down. You can barely walk at all, and she kind of appears on the screen and talks. Sometimes it's really long, sometimes it's extremely short. But this is actually the first time right here that you get to see that Master Chief and the Arbiter are actually friends. That the elites and the UNSC have kind of teamed up to take out the rest of the Covenant, because they realize that the Prophet definitely betrayed them, and they need to stop him and shut down the Ark at all costs, which was kind of mentioned at the end of Halo 2.
Yep, besides also going back to Cortana in your head, which is the first of many which was just seen, but you also get some tastes of Gravemind, and to see what he's up to and what he's done with Cortana throughout the Flood missions and all that. But yeah, for right now, all we got is crazy Cortana.
Yeah, so right here you're getting to see the first gameplay, and definitely the user interface is a little bit different this time around. Now your health bar is actually displayed at the top of the screen, which is a little bit interesting, but most of the gameplay has stayed true to what they were in Halo 2. You have 2 new grenade types, so to increase it to a total of 4. This is actually Halo 3 and Halo 3 ODST are the only Halo games to feature more than 2 grenades. We don't know about Halo 4, but for right now, this is actually the only game to feature the 2 other grenade types. You've got your stickies and your normal frag grenade, but you've also got 2 more. Right here, we actually turn on the flashlight, and the flashlight effect is really, really cool. It lights it up, but it's actually used with the tapping up on the D-pad, which is, I don't really like it. It kind of is a little awkward, and I wish that they would have made it a little bit different.
Yeah, if you're in the midst of battle and it gets dark or something, you're gonna have to move your finger all across, so it'll stop you from combat for a little bit.
Yeah, so a lot of changes that was made in Halo 2 in terms of graphics were the particle effects. There's a lot more particles, so the enemies that you shoot, they'll give off sparks and fire, and it just really looks good. All the bullets have this cool effect where they hit the ground and a couple sparks jump off of it. And you've also got a really nice water effect where now it'll actually create waves in the water, which was never ever possible on the original Xbox. Definitely Halo 3 was incredible compared to Halo 2. It was probably a bigger difference than Halo 1 to Halo 2, just because of the brand new power of the Xbox 360. Of course, we think of it now differently a lot more than we thought of it back then. Back then, it was like, okay, how good can we make this game? What can we do to make it so much better than the limitations the original Xbox had? But nowadays, it's like, okay, how can we make it as good but still have it actually be able to run on the console? A lot of people who played Battlefield 3 definitely know this. The player cap on Battlefield 3 is a lot less than it is on PC, and also just the scope of the maps and the graphics really have to be toned down. So I think we're definitely really close to a next generation system. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about Halo 3 and just how good it was back then. The game came out in 3 versions: the Standard Edition, the Limited Edition, and the Legendary Edition. This is actually the first Halo game to have more than 2 editions. Halo 2 had the Limited Edition, and just the Standard now. This adds the Legendary Edition. They're all pretty cool, but one interesting thing is the Legendary Edition includes this really cool part where it's actually got a Master Chief helmet. It's scaled down a little bit and not wearable, but it's really cool how you get that aspect of Halo actually in real person.
Yeah. This game brought back lots of memories when we played it again. Because back in 2007, this was the first Halo I played, and I thought this was just the best game ever. I actually played the mission that's right after this, which is the ending. We'll see the starting of that. But yeah, that was just the greatest level in game that I've played, and I just thought that the Xbox just could play games beautifully because that was a really good game.
Yeah, Halo 3 was definitely the reason a lot of people bought the Xbox 360. The Xbox 360 has definitely been more popular than the original Xbox, just in terms of how long it's been out and just how good it was. It was the first next-generation system to hit the PlayStation 3 and the Wii coming in 2006. Right here you see another Cortana segment where you really slow down a lot, and they can get quite annoying, like Ryan said, in Cortana, the level a little bit later in the campaign. A lot of people actually did not like that level because it's just really annoying how every 5 seconds either Gravemind or Cortana stops you and slows you down. It seems like you could have completed the level a half hour faster if those things weren't there.
Yeah, it does get annoying.
One thing that's really cool about Halo 3's graphics, again, is just the environments. The scope is a lot bigger because a lot of the backdrops in Halo 2 were just drawn, they weren't rendered, but now you've got these huge rendered environments where in the new theater mode, you can explore around them, and it's really cool how you can find, a lot of people found a lot of, secrets through all these either multiplayer or campaign maps, and it's just really cool. Halo 3 was definitely a lot more accessible than any other Halo game because the difficulty was a little bit different. Easy and normal were a lot easier, and then hard and legendary were a lot harder. Not as hard as Halo Reach's hard and legendary because there isn't the difficulty isn't increased for the amount of players playing. So me and Ryan are playing, but then if I was playing alone, the difficulty would still be the same and the amount of enemies would be the same. But that was completely different in Halo 2. One weapon that they added was the battle rifle returned, but one weapon that they added, well, not added, but actually returned from Halo Combat Evolved was the assault rifle, which is actually really the signature Halo gun, but then was removed in Halo 2, and we kind of talked about that. But it was back in Halo 3, and it's been back through any Halo game since then. And it was really cool because a lot of people really liked the assault rifle from Halo Combat Evolved, and it was nice to see it back in Halo 3. Dual wielding also returns. It's not as huge as in Halo 2. Because a lot less weapons can be dual wield. You basically got the plasma pistol, the spiker, and the SMGs, and those are really the big weapons to dual wield, which are okay, but it's definitely you also want to use some more weapons, and it's not just an ultimate win like it was in Halo 2. You can just go through tons of enemies. You really have to use it a little bit more tactically than you did in the last game.
So yeah, weapons are they bring back a lot of the same weapons, add some new things. They did upgrade, just adding to the new console, better graphics, but they did upgrade this game from the older ones, and you can really tell. So yeah.
Yeah, the multiplayer was much improved with the Forge mode, like a map editor where you could really like build your own maps, and it wasn't as huge as it was in Halo Reach, which we'll talk about that later. But it was really cool, and that was the first time in a Halo game that you could really take the maps and make it your own. They added some really cool ones later with downloadable content. Sandbox being a big one, where it was basically just like a clean slate, a very small clean slate, but you could basically build whatever you wanted on it using the Forge like items available. But it was really cool how you were able to create a lot of custom matches, and that was cool. Custom game types were a lot bigger in Halo 3 because of Forge. And then the matchmaking was really cool. Every weekend they had a special game mode, and one of them was Infection. And Infection was the largest. You could see a lot of people came just for the weekends, just for Infection. You only got to play it 2 times out of the month, but it was really fun. And it returned in Halo Reach and was a standard playlist. It still has a lot of people in it right now, but it really started in Halo 3.
Yeah, sadly I wasn't. I didn't have this game when they were still rolling out the Infection every other week or whatever it was.
Yeah, right here I grabbed the sniper rifle, and there's not as many new enemies as were added in Halo 2. The brutes look a lot different, with different armor and stuff, which is pretty cool. But the skulls were back too, and they were really fun to use. Actually, they weren't back. This was the first time skulls were featured in a Halo game, and they were pretty cool because unlike some later Halo games where they were just all there, you actually had to find them and discover them throughout the the campaign mode. So in all the levels, you had one skull that was hidden. As soon as you picked it up, you got the achievement, and you unlocked it. And it was really cool because it added some more replay value that the original Halo and Halo 2 didn't have. Also, it's playable with up to 4 friends. I'm playing as Master Chief, of course, and then if you add a second person in, which is Ryan in this game, he's the Arbiter, and then the other 2 people can be just normal elites that they can't customize, but it's pretty cool. Yeah, you can have quite a few friends, and the frame rate holds up just fine. There's no lagging or anything like that. Sometimes it'll lag just for internet connection because of somebody, but really, Bungie was able to really nail it with the multiplayer and use the next generation Xbox Live to really make it a lot of fun. The maps are really good. Like Sand Trap was a hugely cool map. It included 2 elephants, which were kind of drivable bases, and especially in the game mode, Capture the Flag really changed the just how you played it, because the flag capture zones were actually in the elephants, so it really changed how you did capture the flag, because the 2 would come out right next to each other, and you'd have to really fight in close quarters to protect your flag, and then get the enemy flag as well.
Yeah, tying in with that, actually, in the Mythic maps that actually came with the ODST, like you get them for a second disc, they have secret skulls on those too, just like the campaign, like they have in this, that you can find with while roaming through the map. Some kind of need some pretty cool tricks to get to them. Like actually here, I think what they helped with this is when you have to search for a skull on a mission, it kind of helps you explore the map and see how big it is. Because actually here, in the end, when Joe is getting to the Pelican, I go where the skull is actually, but you need 2 people to butterfly jump up to it. But the skull is actually just on top of the roof that we're fighting next to. So yeah.
So yeah, Halo 3 had quite a bit of DLC, like Ryan said. Halo 3 OST included all the Halo 3 multiplayer maps. They added a couple of map packs, and there was a very large amount of maps when it was all said and done with all the DLC. And a lot of people are still playing Halo 3 today. There's still about 30,000 people online, unlike Halo 2. The servers are still up, so if you buy Halo 3 right now, you've got it's exactly the same way it was back in 2007, the full co-op campaign, and of course Forge and normal multiplayer matchmaking. So we're pretty much getting to the end of the video. We're about to get in the Pelican. And it's interesting right here, it doesn't really give you a prompt to get in it. You kind of have to go up there, and then it says to ride in the Pelican. The first time we recorded it, where it kind of got corrupted, we were kind of wondering how to get in, and then we finally got in. We thought it just landing triggered a cutscene, but that was actually the way to get in. So you can buy Halo 3 right now for about $20 on Games on Demand and at any store. You can still get the limited and the legendary edition, although I wouldn't get the limited edition because there's been some problems with the disc actually falling out in the case and getting all scratched up. So that's pretty much the end of the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, thumbs up, subscribe, comment, and we will see you guys later. Peace out.
So yeah, definitely go pick it up. It's still worth it to get try for those Vidmasters and get some recon. See you guys.